Hey everyone, thanks for joining. So, by default, when people first join the channel here, the microphones are muted. I plan to open them up, but one question I have to ask is, I don't know if in this meeting, like, if someone, do you guys see the raised hand icon at the bottom? Yes or no? If it's, like if no, shake head, or if yes, no. Okay, no raised hand icon. So the part I'm kind of fuzzy on is how to add that as an option. But what I'll do is after I explain the basic like site and everything and what we're doing, I will. If somebody wants to message me in the chat and say when they want to speak after you know the main statement, then just put it in the chat at me and like, hey, I want to speak, and I'll take the in the order that it's received, and so. Okay, so somebody's saying it. Oh, I do see the raised hand. Okay, so yes, anybody that does the raised hand icon, you can do it at any time, and I'm gonna take it in the order that I see it, and I do see it right now. So yes, if you on the bottom, either on a computer it'll be at the bottom, but on your phone it might be somewhere else, and there's a raised hand icon, and so if you want to say something, I'll unmute it and you can say something. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say that what has happened. So, to start off, the city of Bellingham is granting us a site that is in the Civic Field parking lot at the Frank Jerry baseball fields to set up a second tiny home village. This is going to be temporary. It's only going to be until spring of 2021, and we've gotten assurances from the city that we will be moved to a longer term site if it works out, and this is a 3-way partnership. So normally HomesNOW actually does construct our own tiny homes, and we pay all our own utility bills, and we do all our own stuff. We have also committed to not taking government funding. So we actually aren't willing to take money from the city or the county or the state or the federal government, but we do ask them for services or infrastructure or basics in which we might be able to come up with a mutually beneficial arrangement. So, for example, with Unity Village, our current village, we do pay the electric bill. We do pay the bill for the porta potties. We do all those basics, and it costs around $1,500 a month to operate. HomesNOW has no paid staff, so we don't have any like salaries to pay or anything like that. And so the amount that it costs depends on the bills we have to pay. So at Unity Village, the bills we have to pay add up to be $1,500 a month. But at this new site, the difference between our previous site and this site is that we are working in partnership with the city and the county, and we're all providing something different. Okay, so the city is providing the site, the actual parking lot that we're gonna be at. They have also provided the porta potties for the site, and they've provided an admin office at the front that is a shipping container admin office, and they are providing the electricity, and they're paying the utility bills for the site. And that is very, we really appreciate that, and that helps us be really confident in moving forward with the second site, because the main thing that HomesNOW was worried about is that we would overextend ourselves financially. And so if it's a question of how to manage a site or not, like, we're willing to take that on, and we're so glad that the actual like base cost of like monthly bills is basically zero in this new arrangement in which the city covers that. Now, what about the structures? HomesNOW is fully prepared to build our own structures. We have our own floor plan. We have our own blueprints. We can build our own tiny homes. I don't know what the city's position is on it, and we can ask that later. But HomesNOW even wants to start construction because we've had a couple volunteers and we've had a couple organizations say we'll build 2 for free and stuff like that. And so if the modular structures, the last part before I talk about that part is that the part of the county in this is that the county has agreed to buy the modular structures, and these structures look like tiny homes. They are basic in design, but they have the heat and electricity and insulation and everything like that, and to the standard of a small bedroom. And so it's a 3-way partnership in which the HomesNOW is the operator or the manager. The city has provided the site and the basic utilities to run it, and then the county is providing the actual structures that go on the site. However, HomesNOW is capable of building our own structures too, and we can do that in the absence of if that part falls through, we can gradually build these structures ourselves as well. And so this did not go through the standard review process that would normally be implemented. There is a process where it takes a few months for something to go through. This has been allowed for partially because after COVID the economy is getting worse and things are getting where more people are becoming homeless, so it's more of an emergency, but also because of the pandemic, the COVID emergency, and there has been a case or 2 on City Hall so far, and so there are emergency powers at play which allow for a better situation when it comes to quarantining or social distancing or whatever, in which a tiny home unit is actually really good for that because each person is pretty far away from the other person and they have their own separate private space. So instead, if you had a situation in which everyone was congregated into one room or something, you would have a worse situation as far as disease spread or whatever. As far as HomesNOW is also prioritizing people that are on the City Hall lawn. So, people have all kinds of stereotypes around what homelessness is, and who. And whether it's a problem or not, or who is causing the problem, or what behaviors those people will have. But at the same time, everybody's an individual. Everybody's different. So you can talk to 1,000 people and get 1,000 different stories and 1,000 different reasons for how they ended up in that position. And so... And I gotta tell you, everywhere that HomesNOW has been previously in any neighborhood we've ever been in, is that at first, before we're there is resistance, and people think that they have different visions in their head of what homelessness is or what a camp is like or whatever, and they might have fears about that, or think that crime's gonna go up, or think that that their business will get more or get in trouble, or that they'll get broken into, or that stuff will get stolen, or things like that. But everybody is an individual and they have different situations, and so HomesNOW, for example, when we let people in, we're not a low barrier shelter, so we actually do our own background checks, and we look for anything. We look for people that actually would do well in a community setting, and be able to work together with other people, and we also look for criminal history. So again, a criminal history though is not a disqualifier. So for example, when we do our background checks, right? We look for something that might be an obvious harm to living in a community setting or the surrounding neighborhood. So if we look in their criminal record and we see that some stuff happened in the 90s or the early 2000s, and nothing since, or if we see that there was if we see that there were 17 thefts in the last year in our background check, then it's oh, okay, they're probably too risky to let in. Or if we see a serious crime, like if somebody has a serious crime like strangulation, assault, or they have a rape on their record, or they're a sex offender or something like that, then we wouldn't be able to let them in. But at the same time, we're not super strict or high either. We're looking for people, or high barrier either. We're looking for people that are trying to get back on their feet, can do well in a community setting, and can move toward a self-managed structure where they help to run their own village. And so that is what we're moving toward and what we want. And if anybody from the Puget neighborhood is on this call and they would like to visit Unity Village sometime, Unity Village is in Fairhaven, and that village we're open to the public, so we welcome visitors. So if somebody's a visitor, they have to wear a mask and everything because of COVID protocol. But we welcome visitors, and anybody that's unsure about what HomesNOW will be bringing to your neighborhood, I would suggest that you visit the village. And you can visit unplanned, but if you let us know what time, we can make sure that someone's there to greet you, and that it's not like no one's at the desk or anything. And so we welcome visitors, and we're proud of what we've built there, and we just want to keep expanding and doing and helping more people get housed. And and so that's our basic idea. We understand, though, that this is happening quickly. I can tell you on this site in particular, I live 1 block away, and I'm the chairman of HomesNOW, so I will be very involved at this site and being there on a very regular basis. We will have HomesNOW staff, volunteers on site 24/7. We are also utilizing longtime residents of Unity Village as staff for that site, or we plan to. And we will make the neighborhood better. We have security, so we have people that do security, but we also have a security camera system. So if there's anything else going on in the area, we'll be able to see it. Or if there's something odd activity going on, like our residents will actually care about that and want to find out what's going on. And we've been told previously at the previous sites where we've been hosted at that crime has gone down in the surrounding neighborhood. And so where we've been hosted has seen an improvement in the surrounding neighborhood. And we're not, I live here, I live 1 block away. I'm also on the Puget Neighborhood Association board. And, I see HomesNOW as trying to be part of the solution and trying to actually improve the problem and actually get housing for people and make it better. And so, rather than just like pretending it doesn't exist or operating on stereotypes that like everybody is a certain way or whatever. And, we also have statistics to back it up. On our website, we actually have, our statistics of exit results. So like through our program, how many people found permanent housing, how many people are still hanging out, how many people have had to get evicted or whatever. And we have a 40%, at this time, we have a 40% rehousing rate, and it's going up. And so that means that 40% that come through got into a long-term place, like an apartment or a room in a house or something like that, after they came through HomesNOW. We kind of have 2 types of success at HomesNOW so far with the residents we've had. We're going to have new variables with this new site, of course, but so far we've seen a situation in which there's some people that have a job, they work full-time or whatever, but they can't afford first and last month's rent or something like that, and then they're able to live there, save up a little bit of money, and then actually get their own place, and then they don't need HomesNOW anymore. And then we also have another group of people that are also successful, and they actually help us run the village effectively. And a lot of times it's people that are on disability, where they're perfectly capable adults, but maybe their income level is so low that they can't actually like afford any place that's available. Maybe they're on a housing list, but the housing hasn't arrived yet. and they help to run everything and keep it running smoothly. And so that's the basic premise of what we're trying to do. We're trying to expand on our model that we think is successful. We also realize that there is a camp on City Hall, and we're trying to actually find people housing that are stuck in tents. And so we've been doing interviews over the last few days to find people at City Hall who would be able to do well in this type of setting, and can make a dent in the problem. Now, there's over 1,000 people in Whatcom County, I'm guessing, or I think. I know that the point in time count says like 800 or something, but there's people that are not in the point in time count, and so that number is probably higher than that. And the fact that even if HomesNOW can help 25 people, there's still 1,000 out there, right? And so this is only making a small impact or a small dent, and we can do more. We're ready to do more, but this is just the start. And it's not just HomesNOW. There's a lot of other people trying to help, and we need to make sure that we get people housed and going in the right direction. One sec, I'm reading the comments here. Okay, so Helen Campbell is asking if those on the lawn are going to be placed ahead of folks already on your application list or on the OC list. Okay, I want to answer that question. That question is that at this time with this new site, we are prioritizing people on City Hall lawn who would fit. But I also want to tell everybody that HomesNOW actually doesn't do our application process on a first come first served basis. So it's not like you're 13th in line, and as soon as a slot opens up, you're in. It's literally like, would you be a good fit? Sometimes we actually don't. Like if a new application comes in and they seem really good, like we'll call them and we'll interview them and we'll see if they're a good fit, and if they are, we let them in. If they pass their background check and they don't have any warrants, when we send the ID to the police department and stuff like that, we'll let them in. But sometimes what happens is we're like full. Like let's say we're full, and then you get like 15 people that apply, and then you're still full, and then like 3 months happen, and then suddenly you get 1 or 2 spots open. We don't necessarily go back to the beginning of finding out like who applied first when we were full, but then when something new comes in, we actually do, if they look like a good candidate, we actually call them right away and get them in there. And so if anyone has applied before and we announce, or you find out that we have additional openings, I suggest you just apply again. And it's not a process in which it's literally first come first serve. It's about, will you be a good fit or not? And and we have 500 people that have applied, and so it's easy to like lose track a little bit. And sometimes you go back to somebody from 3 months ago and they found housing and stuff like that. And so we will announce when we're actually open, when we have slots open, and we encourage anybody, even if they've applied before, to apply again. And if they have applied and they haven't heard anything, I encourage them to actually send us an email to admin@homesnow.org, and it'll get to all of us that work with HomesNOW, or contact us directly on our Facebook page and ask. We have an open door policy. We're we want to have an open line of communication. We don't do anything behind closed doors. So if you actually have any questions, we're always really glad to answer. And sometimes we forgot about someone. Sometimes somebody's a really good fit and we forgot about them because when they applied 4 months ago, we were full, and then a lot of stuff happens and you just forgot that name at that one point at the bottom of the folder that you a stack of files that you have. And so when someone says, hey, I turned in an application, I still need housing, then suddenly it's like, oh, okay, let me find your application. Oh yeah, like you seem like a good fit. So that's kind of how it is, and it's not perfect, but that's been the reality of what it's like for what we do. Yeah, so Heather K put in the chat here, and anybody that wants to ask a question, they can put it in the chat. I'm literally gonna open up the floor for anybody that wants to speak. I also want the city to speak on this too. But as far as the questions that exist right now, I want to answer them. So one sec, I'm looking at these. Okay, so one question was from Melissa Bird, which said, if there's people not on the lawn, how do they apply? Well, they apply on our website, homesnow.org/r-u-homeless, and they'll be able to get there. But if you go to our main website, you'll be able to see, like, it's like a banner that swipes across the page, and you'll be able to see "Are you homeless?" and tap on it. And honestly, digitally is preferred, but we understand that there's a digital divide, and some people don't actually have devices in which to fill out the form electronically. So we have a paper form, but if anyone wants to fill out a form digitally, we also have a section for referral. So, like, make sure you say who referred you if somebody did refer you to HomesNOW, and we're interested in that. I'm just looking at these comments, sorry. Okay, so I don't I don't see any other comments other than, like, clarifications about links and stuff. So I wanted to open the floor. So anybody that wants to say something or has any question, please raise your hand, and we're happy to answer or give our input. Is there anybody that has any questions or comments? Oh, Rick Sepler? Okay, one sec.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rick Sepler. I'm the Planning and Community Development Director. Thank you for coming tonight. Just want to clarify a couple of things. The first is the primary and overarching reason we're working with HomesNOW on the site is because of the COVID emergency. We're not able to provide spacing, separation, or ensure that we're able to maintain the basic principles you need to keep folks safe right now. And HomesNOW, through this layout, is able to do that, and they've proven they've been able to work in the COVID environment in Fairhaven. And they've been very successful with no tested positives, no cases, allowing folks to come and go in good protocols. So we felt very confident. The city needed to act quickly because the situation in front of City Hall was desperate in terms of COVID exposure. As you know, there were a number of positive cases, and a number of the former campers from the encampment in front of City Hall are now in isolation and quarantine because they've been exposed. HomesNOW was gracious enough to say they could move very quickly and step forward to do this, a proven entity we've worked with in the past. I should say, however, there is a cost to do this. It's about $50,000 to do the site preparation, to provide power and all the utilities to the site. And each of the modular shelters costs about $7,000. So the public is contributing to this, although HomesNOW is not a contracted, and Doug is spot on. They don't take funding from the city for that. They take in kind from the city. So we do site prep, we provide materials, and they operate it. The last thing I'll say, and certainly be able to respond to questions, is that the emergency authority is granted by the governor and by the mayor and the health department, and that is in place till April 1st. At the time in April 1st, because of other uses for civic, we'll be moving this encampment to another location, and we haven't determined that yet. We're moving so quick just to get it up and running. We haven't had time to talk about where we go in spring, but we'll get to that shortly. It was a means to get something on the ground very quickly and resolve that health crisis. I can say, and I know that we have representatives from the police department with us, in the 3 prior encampments, exactly what Doug has said is true. we saw a decrease in calls for service in the surrounding area, largely because HomesNOW takes an ownership approach of their sites. Their eyes on the street. They discourage others who are unsettled or unsheltered from coming into the general area. And they really are monitoring the conditions of what go on. And we found that to be true. So both in Sunnyland, behind City Hall, and now in Fairhaven, the 3 previous sites, we've had extraordinarily good response in the surrounding area, a decrease in calls for service specific to homelessness, and we've actually had a number of positives in terms of less litter and community involvement being enhanced. What I can say, I guess, to conclude, is that there'll be a full suite of conditions that we've proven in the other encampments. We'll be posting those very shortly. We're almost done doing it. They'll be in place before folks go to the site. I don't know if Doug mentioned it, but this is a drug and alcohol-free campus. These are all screened individuals. If folks can't follow the rules, we support HomesNOW in exiting those folks. And that's not a bad thing. If folks can't follow the rules, they shouldn't be there. It's never a black mark against you. It's the right thing to do. And unfortunately, on occasion, we've had to do that. But I think at the end of the day, we feel fairly confident it will be a good fit for the next few months and provide immediate relief to an emergent crisis.
Cool. Thanks, Rick. Whenever I get distracted here, I'm just looking at the chat. So first we have Ayelet, and she says, I have a few questions. Apologies if it was already mentioned and missed it. Number 1, how fast can the new site be ready? And number 2, how many people will be recommended into the new site? And number 3, what can we do to help? Well, I can answer that question for you. Number 1, how fast can the site be ready? We've been told by the city that as soon as we have our proof of insurance, which we thought would be today, but it'll probably end up being tomorrow, and that we had our operations plan turned in and our staff policies and procedures, as well as resident policies and procedures for Swift Haven. As long as we had those things turned in, we'd be good to go. As far as I'm aware, we've had everything turned in except our insurance for that specific site, which we're waiting for, but it should be late, or it'll be tomorrow, and we should have that. And after we've turned it into the city, we hope that we actually will be able to get that up and running as quickly as possible. As far as question number 2, how many people will be accommodated to the new site? It's slated to be able to accommodate 28 people, 25 tiny home units, but some people might be couples and staying in one unit or something, and so the maximum number that's been slated as what's expected is 28. Number 3, what can we do to help? Well, when we set up this new site and it starts to get going, we're gonna actually need like a lot of stuff. So we we're gonna need like we're gonna need refrigerators. We're gonna need washer and dryer. We're gonna need household items. We're gonna need basic stuff to keep people warm in tents while we wait for the modular shelters to arrive. We're gonna need food. Other stuff. We might end up getting too much donations, because that's been our experience with Unity Village, that we get too much donations sometimes, where it's very like the community is extremely generous, but then like sometimes it's like, man, like we can't fit all this food in the fridge. People have donated so much food, and so we try to get it out there. Sometimes it's perishable food though, so it's like, how do you get the perishable food out there and quick enough? And we've tended to like cook the food and then try to get cooked meals out there, when we get too much. And so yeah, what we will do though is when we need stuff, on that last question of what can we do to help, When we put stuff online that we really like, if we really need something, we will post it online, and if somebody can help, then we appreciate that, and if they can't, we'll end up buying it. And so but obviously HomesNOW is always on a shoestring budget to some extent, and so anything that can be donated for free that we don't have to pay for is appreciated. Okay, I'm scrolling down the list here. And by the way, if anybody actually wants to speak and talk and not just have me answer the questions in text form, please hit the raised hand icon, and I'll get to you as soon as I can, and like for real. So, but Heather K says, I was curious if Terry from the Opportunity Council is on this call. Can she share the process of how a medically frail, unsheltered person can access any heated shelter tonight and access any required quick virus tests tonight? Is there an evening person that can respond after dinner hours? Those are the times after sunset of the greatest needs. So if Terry wants to answer, that's fine. If not, then I'll just go on to the next question. Okay, so I see a message from somebody named Scott Smith. He says, I do support HomesNOW as a neighbor of the new site. I have concern about the existing camps on Fraser Street. These camps moved from Cemetery Woods camps in October. Is there a plan to help or relocate these people? I don't know. I can say that once we're set up, we might actually get a team to go down there and like talk with them and see if they would be a good fit or not. If they're not a good fit, we wouldn't. But if they are, then maybe. And if they are, then they wouldn't be at that site anymore. And so I'm saying I don't know for sure, but I can tell you from a HomesNOW perspective, like they're our neighbors. They're really close to where we're at. So like we will reach out and be like, hey, what's the deal? You know, maybe we can help. And if that's the case, then you might see those encampments right on Fraser Street, which I've seen them because I live a block away. You might see that they go away. I don't know if they'll go away. I'm just saying that if we talk with them and they seem like they'd be good, it might happen. In the meantime, even if it doesn't happen, HomesNOW and the residents will actually be making sure nothing shady is going on. So like if something happens involving these guys right down the street and you see that something weird is happening, you might be able to find out what's going on and alert the proper authorities if there's evidence of a serious crime going on or something like that. But we do want to reach out to them and find out if you know, because we want everyone to get into a situation where they're not camping in a tent. Like HomesNOW is all about increasing the standard of living as quickly as possible for everyone that lives with us. We aren't satisfied with just, okay, we're in survival mode and we're just keeping everybody in limbo and like basically floating a little bit. We actually want to actively increase the standard of living where we can with any of our villages or encampments that we manage, and that's important to us. So I don't know about the city though. Has the city indicated any specifics about the people on Fraser Street? I'm guessing not, but I'm just. One sec, you might be muted. There you go.
Sorry, I'm unmuted. Thank you. We paused as a community on cleaning any of the encampments or moving folks on, largely because of health reasons with COVID. There was a time where we didn't have adequate shelter space. With the addition of this encampment and others that are in the work, we have more than adequate shelter space for many folks. I know that David Cross is here and he could speak to the camp cleanup process on point. So if you could unmute him, he could address that.
Yeah, no problem.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Dave Krass from Bellingham Police Department. I am in charge of the outreach division, which does include the encampment coordinator, Claudia Viscara. As Rick said, we've paused camp cleanups. We're cleaning unoccupied sites now. We're trying to support any activities like we still communicate with the hot team from the Opportunity Council to reach out to folks. It'd be our wish that folks at that Fraser Street camp would get involved with someone like HomesNOW or the resources in the community and would work with it. Unfortunately, some folks out there don't want to communicate with us in that way or participate in some of the resources available. And so, yeah, we will do our best. We're aware of it. We're monitoring it, the activities there. We want to make sure that Swift Village is successful, and that's why we work with Doug to screen folks that are going to be successful there, that it can get the most benefits out of it. And we don't want anyone there that's going to create a negative environment or unsafe environment that that doesn't make this village a success. So we're monitoring the camps. I don't know if or when cleanups will resume or how that will look. It's kind of a group effort between department heads, city legal, and the police chief right now. So again, we're monitoring. We're ready to go. Should we need to modify things, we're trying to be creative to help folks. But yeah, we're not disbanding anyone at this point or moving them along. But we want to make sure that any negative activity at that camp isn't associated with the HomesNOW village, because we want to be really clear that, as Rick has said, as Doug has said, everywhere HomesNOW has had a village, it's been successful as far as police response. It's very limited. When we do come, it's working with HomesNOW. They've called us for situations that they want us to be aware of or help with. And so it's been positive from a crime standpoint from the police's viewpoint.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so Helen Campbell is asking, what exactly does drug-free mean? Well, that means that drugs or alcohol are not allowed on site. And that means that residents have to be responsible for having behavior which is in accordance with being sober and actually being able to make progress and get along well with others, and not causing problems for other people, and their behavior is in line with what you would expect from a normal person at the grocery store or at your friend's house or whatever. And so that's what it means. We don't necessarily do random drug tests or anything like that, but we make sure that it's behavior based. So for example, like let's say that drugs were not involved at all, but somebody had behavior which was, where you might question whether they were on drugs or not. Maybe they were really unhinged or something. Or maybe they seemed really drunk, but then you do the drug test, you do the breathalyzer, and it comes back clean. Is that behavior okay? It's still not okay, but it might be for a different reason, right? It might be because they have a chemical imbalance in their brain or something, and they naturally have that behavior, and some people might think it's drugs when it's not. But we focus mostly on a behavior-based approach. So if people have good behavior and they're not, and there's not actually any problems, we're not looking for problems, and so we don't. It is drug and alcohol free, though. If we actually find out that there's drugs or alcohol on site, that's a problem, and we actually will try to find that person. If that person has a addiction problem or something, we will try to find them help that they need. It's not that if there is drugs or alcohol that we would automatically kick them out. It's literally that if they need help, we'll help them. And if they have used, let's say that, because alcohol is legal, right? So like if we find out that they had used alcohol on site, we would make a note of it and put it as an incident report, and tell them that they're not allowed to do that. And if they continue to do that, they might be more at risk for having to take further actions. And that has happened before, and we've also dealt with it when it has happened. And then when somebody truly has an addiction issue and they need help, we'll get them help. Like we'll try to find people that can get them into detox or drug treatment of some kind or whatever. And so I just want everyone to know that, you know, people that are in full houses and people that are in apartments have the same issues, and so we prioritize focusing on behavior and making sure that everyone's behavior is good and that they're helping with the community and that they're not doing criminal activities and stuff like that. And so that's how we approach it. And people might be able to debate whether or not that's the right way to approach it, but that's how we've done it, and we found that it works pretty well with our village that we have so far. Let's see. Let's see. Helen is following up with another statement. She says, medical marijuana allowed or not? Yes, marijuana is allowed, and cigarettes are allowed. So again, why are cigarettes and marijuana allowed, but not meth? Well, it's because when people do marijuana, first of all, marijuana is legal. First of all, cigarettes are legal. And second of all, it's about behavior. So very rarely does somebody do marijuana and that they have a total mental breakdown or they lash out at somebody or in a way that is unusual or whatever. And so it goes back to that behavior-based approach, that it's all about if your behavior is good and you're moving forward as a person and progress is happening and everything's going good. And so we do, marijuana is allowed, and it has been allowed at Unity Village, and it has not been a problem. It's been fine. So yeah, she says marijuana has been allowed at other encampments, and that's true. It has been, and there hasn't been any issue with marijuana, and it's legal. You can get it at any shop. So is there anybody from the neighborhood? Is there? I see somebody from the. I don't know if they're from the neighborhood, but KJ Chimera. I'm gonna unmute them and let them speak. KJ.
Yeah. Hi, Krista. Hi, Doug. I just really wanted to kind of add to what you were saying, I guess, from a resident standpoint. For one, as you pointed out earlier, we do have kind of an extensive application process. We do look for people who are very invested in their life and to, you know, getting housing or getting to another level. And I know as a resident, I've seen that our model is so self-governing that really people who don't fit in just find themselves kind of edged out because it really has created a real community or family kind of spirit or feeling down here with Unity Village. And I would imagine the same thing will happen over at Swift Haven, especially with Dave and Tina over there. So I've noticed that anything like a alcohol or anger problems or anything like that are they just kind of get taken care of because the rest of the family just doesn't tolerate it, because we're all very invested. We don't want to risk our housing. A lot of us are ex-addicts or alcoholics. We don't want to risk our sobriety or, you know, relapsing or anything like that. So we don't want to be triggered by anything either. And it really just does kind of, though you can't really squat here. You can't just hide in your house and just do whatever you want. It's really impossible. I have some mental health issues. Sometimes I'm suicidal. I've had, well, for instance, Doug threatened to kick my door down if I don't answer because they're concerned about my safety. Same with helping out in rules. If you're not like out and a part of the community and helping and working and being, a decent human adult, you can only go so long before somebody's going to start nipping at your butt about that. So I just wanted to add that it's just from a resident's point of view that that we govern it too, and we kind of act accordingly, and kind of speak to our own, other residents, our own members of the family, and either getting something settled or get somebody moving on. Anyway, so I just wanted to throw that in. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I have another raised hand from Tina Harkness, who is also a resident of Unity Village. Go ahead, Tina.
Hi.
You're getting some wicked echo. We're getting some wicked double echoes from you.
That's probably Dave.
Yeah. If you have two of the same audio in the same room, that will happen.
There we go. He just turned it down.
Okay.
Okay. My name's Tina Harkness, and I am a resident at Unity Village. I moved in at Safe Haven, and I am moving over to the Swift Haven. I'm really excited to be a part of this new program and to actually be helping people. And I know we are going to make a difference. People here were skeptical, and now we have people walk by here just to look at our houses. Some people walk by here just to see my kitty, because she runs out and greets everybody. It's like a family. We're all just a huge family here, and that's what our goal is for Swift Haven, is to make it a family just like we are here. And we need everybody. It takes a village to do all this. And I'm just, the people that I've seen coming in and out of here since I've been here is just amazing. And Doug rocks. That's all I can say. Is a lot of us here just really appreciate Doug, and all you other people that are volunteers, our staff members, people, all of you guys. We love you all, and we appreciate you. And I'm looking forward to working with you guys in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. We have another hand from, and I want to remind the neighborhood, if there's anybody from the Puget neighborhood here that wants to speak or wants to bring up a concern or a question, we are all for that, and we want to answer any concern that you have, and like straight up, and we want you to feel at ease that we're going to enhance the neighborhood and make it better. So if anybody has any concerns, we would love for you to have your say. And so, okay, sorry, I'll mute you, Tina. So we have another hand raised. Somebody named Amber Polly. I'm gonna ask her to unmute.
Okay. Hi. So I live in the Puget neighborhood, and I don't have any concerns. I just came on. I really just wanted to say as a person that lives here, I'm super pro whatever you guys are doing, and I honestly thought it was gonna be tents was the plan. So I'm really excited that it's going to be tiny homes and not tents. I just hope it's not tents for very long.
Yeah, and let me tell you about that. So we are looking to upgrade to tiny homes as quickly as possible. It's starting with tents because we don't have anything else at this time. But we've gotten reassurances from the city that the county will be providing the modular structures. And we haven't talked about this with the city yet. I guess we'll talk about it in tomorrow's meeting. But HomesNOW is also maybe interested in, because we have our own tiny home design and we have our own plans and everything, and if the structures are taking longer than expected to arrive, we want to start our own construction while we're waiting, so that it's not we're waiting for 2 months while this is happening or something. And especially since people are in tents to start, it's gonna be cold. If snow starts soon. We're gonna we think that our kitchen tent that we're gonna set up, that's a huge tent, might end up being a warming tent at first when we first get set up, because we're in the middle of winter in tents, and so we actually have to figure out how to do that on this site, but we're willing to do it. But I can tell you that the goal at the end is tiny homes, and that we've been reassured that the units are available and that they're going to happen over the coming weeks. And so but in the absence of that, we plan to build our own anyway, if that is not happening as quick as it needs to. And so I'm just letting you know that the goal of HomesNOW from the start, and this is constant, we want to constantly increase the standard of living for every single village we have. We don't ever want to just leave it stagnating and it's good enough. We actually want to keep making it better and better and better, and that includes every single site that we'll ever be at. And we think that poverty's gotten worse. Things have gotten worse over the years as far as like basic standard of living, and so we're on a shoestring budget, but we're always aiming for bang for buck. What's the minimum amount of money we can put in to get maximum results for standard of living going up? And that's our methodology of what we're trying to do with any site that we have. And so we don't want a site that is a perpetual tent encampment forever. We feel like that would mean that we failed. That's how I would see it, and that it needs to actually be good standards. And so tiny homes are really great for that, because you can put them in areas in which it's not standard for, or it's not suitable for standard development, not suitable for development in which you would need a foundation and all the standard stuff. But at the same time, still, like, the amenities on the inside would be like a small bedroom or whatever, and so with a shared area for like kitchen and bathrooms and stuff like that, to the point where it's very affordable. And that's kind of our methodology. We hope to own our own land one day and do even more, but for now, this is what we're doing, and we're really glad that the city and the county is working with us and trying to make progress on this. And I see that is happening, and I just hope that it continues and increases over time. Let's see. I'm seeing some more. Okay. So Terry Bryant is asking if we've reached out to the Puget Neighborhood Association about this. Yes, we have, and in fact, I'm on the board of the Puget Neighborhood Association. So as soon as this was even on the table as being a possibility, I was in conversations with the neighborhood association about this, or about that this might be a possibility, or this might be happening soon, and I made sure that on the Puget Neighborhood Association website this Zoom meeting was posted ahead of time, and explaining about what this site is, under which conditions the site had to be set up through emergency powers. The board of the neighborhood association appreciated that it was all posted on their website, which I'm in charge of the neighborhood association's website. So I made sure that we had that up ahead of time. Heather K says, Douglas, what type of tents do the arrive? I think that's a typo. Who purchases the tents, and will the tents be waterproof and windproof and last until a tiny hut arrives? Yes, we will be providing the tents, and that's partly why we put our fundraiser out there. And we put it out there as $3,000, and it's a sum that we think will cover mostly all of the startup costs for the basics, and maybe it'll cost a little more, but it'll get us started to be very comfortable in just buying what we need to buy if nobody's able to donate. And we will be providing the tents and stuff, because we want to make sure that everybody has a good tent. And like, we don't know. So like, for example, with COVID, right? You don't know if there's all kinds of stuff in the tent. You don't know if like the bedding and all that has COVID. Like, you don't know if like there's some kind of way that there's cross-contamination. So we actually do want to make sure that we get the tents, and we want to make sure that they're as good of tents as possible for a reasonable price point that would give the campers or the residents of our site anything that they need with relative comfort, and while we wait for these modular structures. And like, we're the ones covering the costs, but it's not just us. The community has donated to us. And so, again, Homes Now has no paid staff. So if people donate more to us, we can do more. But if they can't, then we can make something happen either way. And so we're going to make sure that all of the residents of this new village have good tents until the more comfortable structures can arrive. And in the meantime, we'll have provisions for warming and making sure people can stay warm when they're not literally in their tents. And so that's important to us. And again, with the standard of living. Okay, so let me go through this. And to Heather K, I don't know what type of tent. It'll probably be like a normal camping tent, but we probably won't get like the cheapest ones we can find. We'll probably get ones that won't break in like a week or something, right? Because if you get the cheapest ones, like they always break like within a short period of time, and we would need to make sure that they'd be able to handle a month or two at least without breaking. Oh, yes. And Rick Sepler has said that both Homes Now and the city reached out to the neighborhood association. And the link is on their website, yes, because I am in charge of their website. So, but the city did reach out to them separately as well. And I found out about the city reaching out to them when I got the email as being a member of the board, like with the group, email that I get. Heather K asks another question. How many blocks away is it from the closest bus station or that Swift Haven residents can access? Well, that street is pretty... there's a bus stop pretty much everywhere around there. There's one on that street. There's one on Lakeway. There's one on Fraser. There's a lot of bus stops right in the surrounding area. So it actually is a really good spot for buses. We have Kelsey. She says, I also live in the Puget neighborhood. We're honored to have this space to do this in our neighborhood. I was very excited to see prep work and find out what it was for. Somebody named Amber says, I agree with Kelsey. Ayalette says, thank you so much, everyone. Catherine says, can people visit the villages if they're curious? Catherine Orlowski. So just to clarify, Catherine Orlowski is on the board of Homes Now, and she's our human services director. And she's asking the question if people can visit the villages if they're curious. Yes, absolutely yes. In fact, we want visitors because, we don't want like massive amounts of people coming in at all time. But what I mean is that we're proud of what we've built. And oftentimes we see that when it comes to homelessness, a lot of times there's stereotypes. People have stereotypes in their head of what it is versus what they end up seeing. So when they come down and they see Unity Village, or later when they come down and they see Swift Haven, they're going to be like, oh, like, this is good. Like, I like this. And it won't just be like an unregulated environment with, garbage everywhere and stuff like that. It actually will be getting people into permanent housing. And while they're not able to find permanent housing and they're going to be doing pretty well too. And the standard of living is going to be pretty good for being in that position. And so that is what we want to perpetuate. And so usually what happens is that when we first try to set up in any neighborhood, we get resistance at first, but then once we're set up, people see it and they're like, oh, this isn't what I thought. It's actually okay. And so that's what we hope to continue at this next site. And I think that we're going to have it's not going to be a problem, and we're going to make the neighborhood proud. So yes, people can visit, and we encourage that. If you let us know ahead of time, it's better though, not because we're going to be like scripting your time there. It's because like maybe it's a rainy day. Maybe it's a rainy day and everyone's inside their tiny homes because it's like not that great out, and then someone just comes up to the gate and sees that there's no one right there, and they're like, oh, I guess I'm not welcome here. And so it's literally like, if it's one of those days and we know you're coming ahead of time, like we'll make sure we can greet you and everything like that. But also if it does happen to be a sunny day or a nice day where people might be outside more, those are the better days to come if you come unplanned. Like if you don't let us know ahead of time and you just show up. Those are better days to do so. And again, people do just show up, not just to visit, but like we take donations and everything like that to get to our outreach team. So like if you come to the village, you might not necessarily be wanting to like hang out there, but like you're trying to donate some stuff. So we have a table out front in which you'd be able to do that, even if somebody's not right there. But yeah, we do accept visitors. We like that. So Rick Sepler, Planning Director of Bellingham, is asking, so if folks have any questions, how can they contact us? Well, they can contact us on our website with our contact form, or they can call me on my cell phone directly. I'm the chairman of HomesNOW, so if you want to get in touch directly with the top, my phone number is 360-224-3727. I'll put it in the chat too. And again, this is actually very important. So I sometimes I feel like I'm too busy and I get too many calls. That's okay though. I want residents who are staying with us. I want the neighborhood who we're living in. I want the city. I want anyone who needs to get in touch or has an issue with HomesNOW in any way to be able to contact us directly and not have to go through any layers in between and just straight up, you need something, we want it to be done and answered and fixed as quickly as possible. And so, so a lot of times somebody else might actually be the one helping you with the question or helping you with the task to do it. But if anyone ever needs to get in touch with us directly for any reason, they can contact me directly. Also, if they don't feel comfortable with me and they'd rather talk to another board member or a resident or anyone, they can do that on their own, and we're fine with that too. But I'm just letting you know, for anybody in the neighborhood, for anybody that's our residents or anyone, don't ever think you can't say something or can't communicate something with us or that it has to go through somebody else. We are all about being as efficient as possible and everything getting solved. So it's, I do see another hand raised. We've got KJ Camara. I'm gonna unmute them. KJ.
Oh no, I wasn't raising my hand.
Oh,
I just
sorry.
I just sent another message though. But, I just sent you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so this meeting has gone on for an hour. If there's anybody from the neighborhood or anyone that wants to say anything additional, please raise your hand right now. If not, we will actually close this out unless there's any further comment. And the last thing that I want to mention is that for anybody in the Puget neighborhood that could not make it to this meeting, we're doing a second meeting on Sunday, December 20th at 11 a.m. So anybody that wants to, that's part of the neighborhood that wants to make it, but they couldn't this time, we're going to do another one at 11 a.m. on December 20th, which is a Sunday. And so I don't see anybody else saying anything that they'd like to address anything additional. So I will close this meeting out. Close this meeting out at this time. So everybody have a great night, and we're gonna be great neighbors, and it's only going up from here. So take it easy. Good luck.